Welcome to SFA All Access. I'm your host, Jalen Woodson. With me on this episode is SFA's counselor, Holly Randall, and her four-legged friend, Rudy. We'll be talking about how this duo contributes to students' welfare on campus. Let's get into this episode of SFA All Access. Being a college student can be rough, especially with exams around the corner. Sometimes all a student needs is a canine friend. Luckily for students, Counseling Services is now offering animal assistant therapy with Holly Randall and her pal, Rudy. And they're here today to tell you more. Welcome to the show, Holly.
Thank you for inviting us. We're excited about being here.
Well, I would like to start by first hearing what inspired SFA to implement animal assistant therapy.
Well, it's been a long time dream of mine to have a canine to be my partner in therapy.
Yes.
And I hope he's gonna.
No, you're fine.
Anyway, so it's been a long time dream of mine that I have a partner in my therapy because I am a therapist. So to have one work with me has been a dream of mine for several years, and then. We discussed it several years ago and then just really didn't have the opportunity. And then actually I started kind of looking into it for myself and then decided, hey, I wanted to do that because it was pretty an extensive process to get him here and get him trained and continue to train because he's a dog. So
of course. I'm actually glad that you brought out the process and training was like for Rudy. Could you maybe give us a little insight of what the process was like when it came to picking Rudy?
Hold on a second.
Of course.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
The process actually, I went through just kind of research breeders to see who had good genetics that would be suitable to being a therapy dog because not all dogs are suitable. So we did a little research with that, and then I really wanted a golden retriever that was dark, and so that's kind of where I started. Then found a breeder and had to actually be on a waiting list, and so we were on a waiting list for several months, and then finally got him. And we flew to Ohio to pick him up and flew him back in the same day. So,
wow, Ohio, that's pretty far out.
Yeah. He did great. He slept through the whole plane ride. So,
well, you said that breed was important. Could you give us a little bit more insight on when it comes to their breed? What type of dog do you usually go for? What dogs do y'all usually not go for?
So you really just kind of look at genetically what's their demeanor. Do they have the ability to kind of connect? Do they have a good personality? Yes. Things like that. You can see he has a big personality himself as he's trying to get his ball. But we try to make sure that they're going to be conducive and to the environment that they will be in. So it's like. Just making sure they're not aggressive, obviously, but making sure that people naturally kind of flock to them and they'll be able to connect with them.
Of course. Well, he is very well trained. Could you give me a little insight of what it was like training Rudy for this job?
The first part of the training was to mainly just socialize him. When we got him here, he was so young. He really wasn't ready to start having commands and things. So it was just the biggest job was to socialize him. So that's what we did for several months. And then after that, during that time we would go to different ball games. We would go to different places where there are lots of people at.
Yes.
And then after that, we went through an obedience program. We went through an obedience program. We would drive to Tyler, back and forth to Tyler about once a week. And then he actually went to an obedience program where he stayed for a couple months. And then after that, we did more training together.
Oh, so it took quite a bit of time.
Yeah, about a year.
Oh,
about a year. Yeah.
Oh, that's a long time.
Yes.
But it was worth it, as I can tell. I know that we can find you in your office hours, of course, but where may students be able to find Rudy on campus?
So we are at the Student Center every Friday at 11:30, and so we're there. We call it Pause with the Pause.
That's
and so we actually see anywhere from, I think, about 80 to over 100 students at a time on Fridays during that hour.
That's a
And
lot.
then we'll be making the rounds during finals week and midterms. We make the rounds at the library, but also I work with athletes too, so I'm at several different games and things like that.
That's wonderful to hear. I'm glad to hear this. I know Rudy might need a break, so we'll be back real quick with, I'm sorry. We'll be back with more. Stay tuned for more of SFA's Furry Friend. Up next, we'll take a look at how Rudy helps SFA students one paw at a time. Welcome back, Jax. We're back with Holly Randall and her furry friend Rudy to discuss the effects animal assistant therapy has had on SFA students. Welcome back to the show, Holly.
Yes, absolutely.
I would love to hear, basically, since having Rudy on campus, has student feedback been positive for the most part?
Overwhelmingly positive. It's been really, it just fills my heart, honestly, just to see how much he's been able to touch and make a difference with the students.
Like you said, he's been able to touch many students and make a difference. Could you maybe give us any stories or experience that has stuck with you since you've been with Rudy?
I think a few things are one time, I have him in session, so he's able to help students that are maybe experiencing a crisis or something really that's unsettling for them.
Right.
He's able to help them calm down more than I can help them calm down. So there is one client, they had actually came in very upset, and before they left, they were taking selfies with him. And it was just really monumental because I would have never taken a selfie with him, and I would have never, it would have never had that kind of impact on him, and Rudy
Right.
did. And then on Fridays, we have regulars that come see him on Fridays. So when they come to see him, there are a couple that come, and their friends come, and it's like that's what they wait for on Fridays. That's like their time, and they enjoy that, and they look forward to it on Friday. So
That's so wonderful.
and then we had another friend that actually made us a bracelet that you'll see on his backpack, and just things like that he's just really been so monumental in doing for these kids that who necessarily wouldn't been able to do.
And Rudy got a best friend, it seems like.
Yes, several.
So you can say for the most part, students find it more easier and more comfortable to talk to you when Rudy is around?
Yes, absolutely. He just brings a level of comfort that most people don't have, and it's just coming with you and with the staff here, it's just like, oh my gosh, it's just fun. It's just a level of fun and a level of happiness that just normally wouldn't be there, and it just happens when he comes in.
Going back to the student that you mentioned that had came in and he was having a rough time, as him, for example, do you find it that students that are struggling with like homesickness or stress and anxiety find it easier to cope with it when they're dealing with Rudy?
Absolutely. I think another thing that just really kind of warms my heart is that some of our international students, they haven't touched a dog in months. Months. So they come in and they're like, I haven't pet a dog in 6 or 9 months or a year, and it just makes them remember their dogs back home, and it just brings a level of connection that is just truly special.
That's great to hear. That is. So, I'm sorry, to go back to the mental health questions, do you find it that Rudy is really helping when it comes to mental health on campus?
Yes, I think he provides just a level of joy that maybe some students, they come and they've had a hard week. They may be struggling with different things outside of just life, but outside of campus. but he just gives them a moment to just pause and have fun. You know,
Right.
he just brings them back to the present moment and helps them remember the good in the day. And we actually sometimes we actually share Rudy wisdom. So on Fridays, a lot of the time, and it's actually been something that the students have really always had been asking for. But we
Right.
have positive affirmation cards, and he will. When the students come to visit him, we'll share Rudy wisdom with them, and so the thought is they can pick a card, and if it doesn't mean anything to them, then we ask them to pass it on. But we consider he's on Instagram as Rudy the Golden Therapist, so he's sharing Rudy wisdom on Fridays.
I will make sure to follow Rudy on Instagram after
Yes.
this. Going back to your office hours, would students be able to get maybe any alone time with Rudy?
Yes. So we have times on Friday where if they want to, they can go to the LWN network online and they can schedule a time with him if they want him to come to an event or a class or something like that. So staff or faculty can actually ask for that. But also we're considering on in the fall to have like a Rudy Day each month where they can come and they can have like a 15-20 minute session with him and just love and just get some loving and enjoy their day. Yeah.
That is wonderful. Well, thank you guys again for joining us. I really did enjoy this time. And thank you, Jax, for tuning in. Whether you're struggling with finals, feeling overwhelmed, or just need a little boost, Rudy is here to help. For more information and updates on Rudy, you can follow SFA's Health and Wellness Hub on Instagram or visit the Counseling Service website. Special thanks to Holly Randall and the team at Counseling Services for making mental health more accessible. If you would like to see more episodes of SFA All Access or other Jack TV programs, you can find us on YouTube at Jack TV SFA. Thanks for watching and Axon.